What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm just kidding with the bottle of wine, but our recipe today, and I'm not surprised by our guest today that our recipe is calling for a full bottle of wine. Without further ado, if I may introduce one of my very close friends, Jacqueline Twa,
Hi guys.
otherwise known as Jax to her friends, Jax. And I am honored that she is joining us today from Colombia. And she's going to tell us a little bit more of that as we go on in the show. Like, what the hell is she doing in Colombia when I met her in British Columbia? Jax and I have known each other for probably 8 years, I want to say, 7 years. And we have a lot of things in common. We have a charity in common. We have cycling in common. We have motorcycle riding in common. We have mindset in common. We have our love of wine and cooking in common, and we just love each other. And she's been a regular of food therapy really since we started the show. She's been in the comments. You would have heard us talking back and forth with her, and she is our guest today. So welcome, Jen!
This is our first time meeting.
I'm coming at you this afternoon from sunny Medellin, Colombia. Yeah, a long way from home, about 8,000 kilometers away from my home, actually. My husband and I have been coming down here for about 3 years, and we just recently bought a home here. This is not it. I actually get my new home next week. So we are in my little rental apartment here with a small kitchen, but I'm so thrilled to be here. I think one of the things the three of us have in common most of all is our love of laughter.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, our love of lobster. That's a combination of lobster and laughter. Yeah, the lobster. And Stephanie, or not Stephanie, so I'm so used to saying Stephanie, Jax, since you are the guest, this is your wonderful recipe. Why don't you tell people what we're doing today?
Well, this is a recipe I created. I went to cooking school at one part of my life in Italy for a couple of weeks, one of the best experiences of my life. And we made two different pasta dishes. One was spaghetti vongole, which is a classic tomato and clam spaghetti. And the other is another classic called aglio olio, which is a garlic olive oil sauce. One of the honest, best simple pasta recipes you could ever make. Through the years, I've developed this recipe onward, and I've come to sort of jam the two together. This is one of my family's favorites for sure. And whenever I have guests come down, you come all this way to visit us, you cook for people for quite a bit. And everyone always says, let's have that spicy clam spaghetti. Now, I want to start by telling you that I personally am allergic to all dairy products. So I'm always looking for a recipe that's not stuffed with cheese, that's not milk, cream, all of those things. So this is a really good way to go. So I'm actually going to get us started because before we go into a bunch of other stuff, and I want you to start with the olive oil.
Okay.
So my recipe calls for a cup of olive oil, but really what you want to do is you want to make sure that the entire bottom of your pan, I have a huge frying pan here.
Yeah, me too.
Covered in olive oil. Now I have about a cup of olive oil here.
Yeah.
And because this is Colombia, everything is pretty manual. I will start my stove.
It's already smelling magnificent because I've already spread in the olive oil and garlic.
The most important thing about this recipe is not to burn the garlic.
Yes,
I can't express to you enough and to everyone that's watching out there that medium heat is maximum here. Not let this garlic you don't even want it to bubble. This is really a sous vide recipe.
A sous vide, did you say? Did you say a sous vide?
Where you're cooking in an oil, in a liquid, and you just want to get it going. So we'll start with that. Get your olive oil going and your garlic in there. And we're going to just let that go for a bit. This is the longest part of the recipe. So before we do anything else, we're just going to let this go. Do not let your garlic start to turn color. Do not let it bubble. We just want to give it a warm, gentle bath.
All right.
While we do that, Stefan, I know you guys have got lots to talk about. We'll just step away from this for a little bit. Not step away where we're not watching it because we don't want to burn the garlic, but just step away from doing anything else other than letting it go.
Yeah.
Now, Jax, did you preheat your oil or did you just throw it right in? Okay, you're going to throw it right in.
Together.
Okay, I'm doing it together right now. Okay.
The danger is that your oil's too hot and you'll scorch that garlic.
Right, I gotcha.
Our goal is sweet, gently cooked garlic, not burnt garlic.
I gotcha. Okay. And Stephanie, you were holding up. I know what you were holding up.
Yes, our challenge, the complaining versus gratitude challenge.
Yay! Got my jugs.
Yes, I got
my jugs.
Yes. Now it starts today, so that's why there's nothing in them. But
that's
starting today for the next week, be mindful of how much you whine, bitch, or complain, or are negative in any way, shape, or form about anything going on in your life, whether it's traffic, whether it's someone you work with, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your kids, whether it's the weather, doesn't matter. Be mindful of that every time you catch yourself, and you may not catch yourself every time, but every time you do catch yourself, oh shit, write it down, fold it up, put it in your complaint jar, and then at that same point, make sure to then, I need to be grateful for something, and write something that you're grateful for. Even if you're writing the same thing over and over and over, it's that the point is to be in a state of gratitude. I'm grateful for the weather. Oh, I'm grateful for the weather. My husband pisses me the f off. I'm grateful for the weather. I'm grateful for the weather.
Yeah.
It's like just and see at the end of the week. And the point is, okay, so here's the point. And at the end of the week, so next Thursday when Siobhan and I come on for food therapy, we're going to take our jars and we're going to pull out, maybe not every single one of them, but for you in the, I know it could be 1,000 for you, and for the challenge is for you to pull that out and to see how many times you complained, even if it was over the same thing, and then to counterbalance that, then pour all of the things, and this is important. Pour all of the stuff that you wrote down that you were grateful for, and it's amazing how that is going to emotionally shift. But it's also going to give you a perspective of indeed how much you may be ejecting negativity in your life, and outside circumstances are oftentimes a direct reflection on what's going on internally.
For me, it's going to make me more mindful of, oh, I got to put this in a jar, before I start to complain. And I don't really complain a whole lot. Don't ask my husband, but I don't really complain a lot anymore. But I know now, because I have this jar, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to stop myself, and I'm telling myself I'll be able to stop myself from, oh, I don't want to put that in the jar. Right. Let's think of something better to say. I should have gotten a really tall, and I still might, a really big, because this jar is going to be too big for my complaints, and this jar is going to be too small for my gratitude.
That's right, girl, and that's the right attitude.
That's right. That is right. So,
I wanted to just say one thing. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I've been married for 28 years to a really amazing man, and our secret has to do with sweetness. So being sweet to one another. So this is a really good reminder how easy it is to be snappy to that person beside you. And especially during these times when we're indoors together so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what I love about your story and some of the, I've not met Jacqueline in person. I haven't met Siobhan in person, but it's amazing all these friendships we're cultivating. But what I know through Siobhan, that you are a world traveler, that's something that you and your husband, you travel the world, you've studied in, culinary arts, and you've been in so many chefs' kitchens around the world. I love it because one of the most important things I think about life is the more that you expose and interact and live, traveling and meeting other people and other cultures, the more you not only become comfortable with like who you are and your place in this world, but like other people and other people's differences, other people's challenges. And so talk about that, Jacqueline, like what that's brought to your life.
When I met my husband, he had 3 boys, and we both had big jobs and our own places. We were broke, all of those things. But, you know, through our times together, especially in the early years, we did a lot of prioritization. And we both said, gee, we want to travel a lot. We love to travel. Now, I'm not talking about vacation. And I think there is a big difference between vacation and travel. But we really put a priority in our life and in our marriage on travel. We decided that we made a goal, and every year at the beginning of the year, we set goals. Every year, we never make all of them, but we set goals. So one of our biggest goals throughout our marriage has been to expand our horizons by travel. I love this saying that said, a mind stretched by a new idea never gains its original shape.
I just got cold chills.
Yeah. That because once you've experienced other cultures, other places, it changes you. And you think that people change, but we are changed through our experiences in life. And we are both very experience-based. We will buy each other gifts of travel or adventure, or before we buy each other things anytime. So, for instance, I didn't complain about anything for a good 6 months after I came home from our big trip to Africa. You just see things that give you perspective of your own life, and it's amazing how it changes you. And understanding that we are so blessed in North America, and everything that we have is such a blessing. You don't get that from just talking about it. You get it from experiences. Like your experiences in Haiti, Siobhan.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we have always placed a premium on travel. We said when we retired, we wanted to do a South American country for a few years, some international project work, and we've done that. So we're here in Colombia, experiencing Colombia for a while. This is our base. We're taking off and leaving from here. We're learning new languages, the culture, all of those things. But most importantly, we're living our lives out of the mold that everyone says you need to create. We have grandchildren. We love our grandchildren, but we don't feel we need to be next to them. We can talk to them on FaceTime every day, anything we want like that. But if we held ourselves to the common way of doing things, we wouldn't be experiencing other things. And this is the priority. Wherever we've gone in the world, cooking is my passion. Wherever we've gone in the world, I have always experienced a cooking school. It's so easy to take a cooking class when you're in another country. Even to a Mexican all-inclusive. Go in the resort. Ask if you can spend a couple hours in the kitchen with the chef. I've done lots of that. Oh my God,
I love that, Jack.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here we are experiencing South America in a new way. On that, I'm going to tell you, shake your garlic up, and now is the time to add your chili flake. Now, this is really important. I have a teaspoon of chili flake here, but we love it spicy. Be careful.
Yeah.
I like stuff spicy too.
Yeah.
I do too.
The chili flake goes in, and we have about another 5 minutes with our garlic, our chili flake together, and then we're going to start adding things.
So should I be cooking my spaghetti?
Well, one of the most important things, and one of the things I'm going to show you that I learned when I was in Italy, was how to cook spaghetti and sauce together. So I need you to understand what your spaghetti package says. If it's 10-minute spaghetti, we're going to put it in now. If it's 8-minute spaghetti, we'll wait a couple minutes, because we only want to cook the spaghetti for half its time in the water.
Okay.
And I am doing zucchini, spiralized zucchini, instead of regular pasta.
Okay.
It'll be equally as delicious.
Absolutely. Oh, so one of the things I want to let everyone know is I want to talk briefly about salting water for pasta. Everyone puts a teaspoon of salt in their pasta water.
What
That's
happens,
so wrong. Nothing.
You put a half a cup of salt in your pasta water.
When I was in chef school, my chef would say, make it salty like the sea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone always uses one of those spaghetti spoons too. I'm a big believer in tongs.
Tongs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tongs. I got my tongs.
Okay. So let's get our spaghetti on.
Okay.
And now is the time you need to start looking at the time, because timing your spaghetti, timing pasta is really critical. Learning to love al dente pasta is something that, not everyone does.
Explain al dente, Jacqueline. Explain al dente.
Al dente means to the tooth. That's exactly what it means in Italian. So it means there is a tooth to the pasta. It means that pasta is firm and not mushy.
Right.
I like that. Look at you.
Look at me.
Looking
All right,
good.
getting in. Let's give our olive oil a shake so as not to burn our garlic.
Yeah, garlic is not burning. My water's coming back up to a boil again, and then I'm going to add my spaghetti.
Yum, yum,
I
yum.
was watching both of your last week's video this week, and I was thinking about what all the things that are so similar to the three of us are. And I think this is in keeping with our theme around complaints and
Gratitude.
Yes.
One of the things I'm most grateful for in all my years of travel is the experiences that I've had. But one of the things I really reflected on is this making a choice about living a joyful life.
Thank you.
I know that there are people out there who love going to a Mexican all-inclusive resort.
Right.
I do too. When we were working our high-pressure jobs, there's nothing like taking off for a week, lying around, have someone else cook for you, just having a rest. That I consider a vacation. But travel is something else, and it takes effort, it takes energy, it takes all of these things. So we made this choice to travel. We made this choice for adventure. But, not everyone has the same perspectives that we do. I think the most important thing you can do is figure out within your own life what adventure means to you and what brings you joy about adventure. Adventure could mean getting in your car and going for a drive around another neighborhood.
Exactly.
Going
adventure is relative.
Place. Exactly. Yep. And being grateful for the fact that we can still discover, being grateful for the fact that every time we try something new, it is indeed something new. So we are a product of our experiences.
Yes.
And every time we go somewhere new, we learn something.
Yes.
You need joy.
So you said that you literally you said that, because I was trying to get my pasta out, my spiralized zucchini. You said that whenever y'all were traveling, you'll go into a restaurant and ask the chef, can you come back into the kitchen and learn? Oh, wow.
I love that.
You should do a Netflix documentary. I'm determined to do a Netflix documentary.
I feel like Guy Fieri, let me see your kitchen. I was in Turkey one time, and we were on a sailboat trip. And I actually got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and went and made bread with a local woman in a wood-fired oven.
Oh my God.
Island that had no power. Amazing. But you'll be surprised. People that love to cook, I find love to share.
Oh, absolutely.
So in a busy restaurant, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to go back and see that going on. But in little tiny mom and pops, if you've got a question, if you ask to see, my experience has been, they'll show you. But every little town has a little cooking school. Use the internet. If you're going on a holiday, let me give you a good example. I was in Istanbul, Turkey, and there was a cooking school. So we went and we were there for a week. I like to get a little bit of distance from my hubby if we've been together 24/7. I like to keep it fresh. So he likes to go and explore things that I may not like. So I'll go and take a cooking class. And all of these things really, really open you up to new experiences and shows, like this recipe. I did not learn this in cooking school in Italy, but I learned this in cooking school in Italy.
That is so
I want to say one thing quick about the food story. What you're looking at in this pan right now, the garlic, the chili, the olive oil,
Yeah.
this is classic spaghetti aglio olio. You would put your cooked spaghetti into this oil right now. This is a delicious
I need to cook up my clams because my clams are fresh.
They're fresh. Get them in there. All right, let's do that. Let's now throw in our clams.
Our clams are going into the olive oil. Yep.
Throw them in. Let's add our cup of stock. Now, one of the things I can't get in Colombia that drives me wild is good stock. So I have to make it, but I have to admit today I didn't make it.
I make my own bone broth and it's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
I do it mostly for the health benefits. That's one of the ways I start my every day.
So one of the things I'd like you to do now that we've got these other things in the pot is I'd like you to turn up the heat now on your garlic so that we can get these clams warmed up.
Okay.
And cooked. So we'll give it a little bit more heat right now. I don't want it to boil or start frying, if you will. Let's get it warmed up. So our clams can make, we're sure that our clams are going to be cooked.
And then you said to pour the chicken stock in?
Your stock and your clams now. Because the clams are going to need a little more liquid, so now's a good time for the stock.
Okay.
Now, I did say in my recipe a whole bottle of white wine. This is from my experience traveling. You only need a half a bottle, but you need to drink the other half, okay?
There
so we're going to need to have the wine. Now, this is a tomato-based sauce, although it's an oil-based sauce. It's also a tomato-based sauce. But for people that aren't eating tomatoes, you do not need to add the tomato to it. If you like a clam-based oil sauce, this is excellent. Just the way it is with the stock, the clams.
Okay.
Really, really good.
I may leave that out.
Before I put my spaghetti in, but yeah.
All right, and you're putting your spaghetti in?
Did you jump? Yeah, my spaghetti is down. So I've got my timer on.
Okay. So when does the wine go in?
It will go in just before when we add our spaghetti in. Just before we add our spaghetti in. So we've got about another minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah, my spaghetti is going to be ready in like a flash.
Okay.
And then I take it. I take the spaghetti out with the tongs.
With the tongs.
Yeah, with the tongs.
One of the reasons I like to use tongs with spaghetti is because never drain your spaghetti and rinse it. Please, if I can only leave you with one thing. I got to rinse off the surface starch. No, you don't. It is that surface starch that will help the sauce cling to the actual pasta.
Yeah.
And the most valuable thing you can have when you're cooking any kind of pasta is the pasta water left over.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're going to do what we're going to talk about here, which is cooking the spaghetti in the sauce. The most important thing is as the spaghetti gets drier and drier, you want to be adding that salty, starchy pasta liquid in. One of the dishes that I love, that my kids love, is carbonara. And you cannot make carbonara without the pasta water. So you need to keep that pasta water. Don't be tempted to drain the spaghetti and throw it in. So we're just going to let this go for another minute. So Siobhan, when you were in Haiti, how did you feel coming home? What about
I was not in Haiti. I was in Guatemala.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Guatemala.
Well, I went to Guatemala in 2018 with my work because the president of our company was a big charity fundraiser for a place called Hope of Life. And it was really a sanctuary for the people of Guatemala who were homeless or moneyless, which there's a lot of, and there's schools, there's church, there's families there. We met an actual family who had moved from the States, a young couple moved from the States and adopted 7 children and actually lived on the Hope of Life campus, they called it. And we did lots of things. We were there, we rescued a baby in the woods of Guatemala. There's this Hope of Life does baby rescues where a company can sponsor a baby rescue. And then
why was the baby in the woods?
Well, because most people are living in the woods. You know, it took us 3 hours on a dirt road
They
to get.
abandoned their baby, or
No, no, no. These people are living in the woods. Like
Okay.
people are living in mountains, right? Like these are where the
Okay.
villages are. So they're
Gotcha.
hours and hours away from any kind of medical services. They may go to town
see.
once a
I
month
see.
with somebody. They don't have
Add your
vehicles.
wine.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead. Add
Okay,
your wine.
add your wine.
Yeah.
Okay. You said half a bottle? About?
About a half a bottle. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
And yeah, it was truly amazing. I was in, and the Hope of Life sends teams out into these smaller villages to sort of take the temperature and find out if there are any children in need of nutrition or medical care.
Oh,
And we went to rescue twins, and I was in the ambulance with the baby, Fernando. I was in the ambulance with the mother and the nurse, and I held little Fernando, and the mom held the daughter. And I think it was Serena, I think the daughter's name was. But I only remember Fernando because, these roads are like this, right? I'm in the back of a tin can ambulance. And I'm holding this baby who's 2, but looks like a newborn. And yeah, and I sang the ABBA song, Fernando, because it was so loud and so bumpy, and the kids like looking up at me, and I just sang an ABBA song and that kind of thing. But when I got home, I was like changed. I cleaned out my closet. I didn't buy anything for myself for a year unless it had to do with cycling or work or working out, like supplements and stuff like that. But I didn't buy any clothes. I didn't buy nothing. And in
anything
fact,
that you felt was unnecessary.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah. But I really, but the thing that amazes me, and they talk about it all the time, is that we went to the garbage dump, because that's where a lot of families live, on the dump, and get their money from scouring through garbage. And there were children there who were singing and laughing and so happy because they don't know what they don't know.
Right, they don't know what they don't know.
Same way.
They don't.
Find happiness in the same way.
They don't. They don't. And they were
find
joyful
joy in their day.
Yes.
Guys, let's add our spaghetti into the sauce. As soon as the sauce now is bubbling really healthy.
Mine is not bubbling yet, so.
Okay, crank it up, Steph.
Oh, it's all the way up. I have one of these portable little stoves, so I need to get I think it's called convection.
A convection. The
stove,
trick
like
with
portable.
convection is they're excellent, but you have to have stainless steel pots. You have to have stainless steel. So you have to, or else the convection stovetop will not work. So take a magnet
Good
with
to know.
Take a magnet with you when you go to buy your pots, and make sure that magnet will stick to the bottom of your pot, or else it will not work on a convection stove. All right. So you can see
that looks amazing.
My pasta here.
I'm doing that right now.
Okay. You can see what my
Mine's
pot looks
taking a
like.
little bit.
And you want to make sure at this point that you've got that bubble going on. Now, this is when the pasta water comes into play. You want to make sure that you don't let it get too dry, because this spaghetti is still cooking. I've just moved my spaghetti over. I am going to set my timer for the second half of my spaghetti and get my ladle so I can add water.
Okay, I'm just waiting for this to come to a boil again.
It's just starting to bubble.
Perfect.
This pan is so big, and I just don't think that the eye is big enough. That was hilarious, Siobhan, when we were like, how many is this supposed to serve?
I know.
With a bottle of wine. And I was like, 100. It looks like.
I had, for the viewers at home, I had misread the recipe, and it was already a bottle of wine. And then I had read 2 packages of 500-gram spaghetti, and I was thinking, okay, who are we feeding that I need all this spaghetti?
A village.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay, now here I go. I'm adding my spaghetti to, oh my God, this is Graham and I's dinner, but it's also my lunch.
I may not be able to eat mine on camera, but what I'll do is when it's finished after the show, I'll still post pictures.
So when you see this bubbling away here, and you've got white wine and broth, garlic, olive oil, chili flake, this is classic aglio olio.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do right about now is we're going to add some tomato. Now, I don't like to make this too tomatoey, and if you've got great homemade sauce, use it. Do not use meat sauce on this because it changes it.
Right.
Keep it with a simple marinara type of sauce. Now, I have one of these small jars. You can see the size of it. I'm going to use about a quarter of this. I'm not going to use a ton.
No.
The way I describe this to friends is, okay, now walk by it with tomato sauce.
I love it. Okay, I just got all my spaghetti. Walk by it.
So you can see I put in about half my jar, but it is not super tomatoey. It is not meant to be tomato sauce. It is meant so that this acid, the acid from the tomato sauce, can counteract the richness of the olive oil, the richness of the clam. You don't think that shellfish is rich, but it is. It's very filling. It's very, perfect.
And I'm adding tomato paste.
Yeah, that'll work just great. Now, in your case, Steph, you need to really taste that at the end. You may need to add a teeny bit of sugar. And I know that goes against the grain, but tomato sauce is very acidy. And this is not an acidy dish. This is comfort food.
Right.
Again, don't let your spaghetti get too dry. Let it come back up to the boil. Leave it be and let it cook.
I've got like spaghetti soup here. So
me too.
Take a little bit of liquid out of it if you can, Siobhan. The idea is that you want it to be boiling, you want it to be going, but not too much water.
Okay, yeah, I got okay.
So grab a ladle and pull it some out.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I could probably drink that.
Yeah. Be like a unique sangria.
Steph, I was so fascinated when I watched your video from the Wedgwood video.
Yes.
When you talked about the fact that in your very early 20s, you started in your fitness and diet journey.
Yes.
I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I was an athlete all my life. As soon as I stopped really pushing hard with athletics, boy, those pounds started coming on.
Right.
But what made you choose that in your early 20s when most people are choosing to get out and party and do all those things?
So, until I was about 21, I literally could eat anything I wanted and as much of it. Like that's your McDonald's, that's your Pizza Inn buffets. I would go to Pizza Inn buffet and have, and no lie, I'm not exaggerating, 12 to 15 pieces of pizza, plus they have dessert pizza, 4 or 5 pizzas of dessert pizza, and still look, 105 pounds and look like I work out. And all of a sudden I was waiting tables at this restaurant, and my boyfriend, was also waiting tables at this restaurant. And after our shift, about 11 or so at night, we would go to this bar, and I didn't even drink back then, and we would eat. And all of a sudden I started noticing saddlebags, and I'd be like, and I'm serious, I was like, I don't be thinking so. But luckily and fortunately for me, he was a gym rat. And he was like, meaning he was in the gym 5 days a week, and I was complaining, and he said, well, why don't you come to the gym with me? I'm like, okay. So I went with him and his roommates, and, these 3 guys taught me how to work out. And from there, and then eat, because Tony ate like tuna. He had a specific way in which he ate, the whole day, with every blue moon a cheat meal. So I learned again from him. So I started eating, real clean chicken, vegetables, tuna, and fat free. And that's when the fat free craze started getting crazy. Well, so I came across a subscription to Cooking Light. So I was addicted to working out. It was my life 5 days a week, Monday, legs, Tuesday, back and buys, Wednesday, chest and tries, shoulders, and then 20 minutes of cardio every day. Well, then I came across Cooking Light, and I had always loved cooking. You know, I had a passion for it, you know, being inspired by my grandmother when I was a little girl. So I learned and taught myself how to make healthy food delicious. So, and then right around that time, you know, and I mentioned that was when I was just unfulfilled. So luckily, yes, I had these questions. And if you notice, I say, I happen to, or this, you know, it was like, you know, I opened myself up to that, which when I was asking questions and looking for answers, they were being presented and I was open. And so that has been my lifelong journey. I hardly ever drank, you know, alcohol back then. I was very much into how I looked physically. And again, but then I started to discover that there was so much more than just my outer beauty, that it was about inner. And that's when I started the journey to self-awareness and personal growth, and realizing that I had this passion for wanting people to love themselves and be healthy and live their best lives.
Well, it really struck me, that whole piece of your story, because Siobhan and I have been friends for quite a while, and I'm reminded of when Siobhan started figuring out that fitness was a path to happy brain, happy body, happy self-worth. And Siobhan, with you, it was just walking. You started just to get
years ago, like in my late 20s. I never wanted to go to the gym. I was such a anti-gym person, but I tried the gym. I didn't like the gym, and I've shared that I was in a dysfunctional relationship in my mid 20s, and we had moved to a new neighborhood. I had moved in with him, and I didn't know where I was. And we had a big fight, and I left his apartment. I left the apartment that I just moved into. I went for a walk around this neighborhood, and I was about 30 minutes in before I even looked up to realize I had no idea where I was. So then I, you know, looking around and walking and getting panicky, I was walking faster. My heart rate was up, and, you know, I finally found my way back. All in all, I was probably gone for an hour. And when I got back, I just felt so good. I was supposed to be angry and mad at this guy, but I just felt so good. So that the next night I went out on purpose, and I took my Sony Walkman, and I went out on purpose and did the same route that I did. And to tell you how unphysically fit that I lost 17 pounds in that first month just from walking, because I was so sedentary. But the other thing that happened was that I started to want healthy food. Like the craving for all the shit that I used to eat disappeared, because now all of a sudden my body was wanting different foods, because it was a different mode. It was, my cells were transforming. My body didn't want the pizza anymore. It wanted the apple. Okay, Jack?
Avocado.
Yeah. See that you guys are taking liquid off? So
yes.
The next time you try this, I would say use a little less, and it also could be a difference in product. So this is what mine looks like.
Yeah, mine almost looks like that, kind of, sort of.
I mean, I've got zucchini. Zucchini's not going to really absorb like pasta would. So
yeah, mine's like this.
Perfect.
Looks amazing.
Oh my God, it smells delicious. Okay.
Serving spaghetti. Okay.
Yeah.
So tongs, right? Tongs in your serving, in your pan.
Yeah.
Bury them, twist, bring your pasta up, and you twist it on the plate as well to serve.
Okay, all my spaghetti broke because it's gluten-free. So that's all right, though.
All right. So here's
I also added some fresh basil from my garden.
I have parsley on the side because I do not add cheese, so I will be putting some parsley because... All right, so here is our plate of spaghetti with the fresh clams on top.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful, should be spicy and wonderful.
I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese to mine.
At this point, you need to have a quick taste to make sure that you don't need to add salt. I always like, with fresh pasta, when you're doing a pasta dish, to add fresh cracked black pepper at the end.
Yes.
And a drizzle of olive oil, because I think it finishes. But on this one, I don't add a lot. Just a zhuzh.
All right, let me get back in here with a drizzle of olive oil.
All right.
Oh my God, this looks amazing.
Now, spicy, clammy.
Oh my God. Okay, I am so excited. Like I just cannot believe that. Ah! Oh boy. Okay, I'm coming in. Oh my gosh, this looks so good.
Mm.
Oh, it's hot. Oh my God, it smells delicious. The garlic and the oil and
It does
the wine.
Turn my.
Now remember, in this case, the olive oil, it seems like a lot of oil, but it is an oil-based sauce.
Yes. And really, in the end, it really wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this
I
is
know.
so good.
Delicious.
It's so good.
Do you know I've never had clam pasta? And I've worked
Ooh.
in Italian restaurants where it was either red clam or white clam.
Yep.
I've never cooked with wait. I've cooked with mussels.
Yep.
I've never cooked with clams. This will be my first time cooking with clams.
Oh wow, there you go. Mm.
Clams are great because they're one of the few bivalves that's actually fairly low cholesterol.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing.
Yummy.
Oh my God, it really is.
So
good.
I think it's so interesting that we've all had this chat here today about the mental piece of what exercise can do for us.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my husband and I work out every single day. We call it the price of admission. We live in this beautiful place. We have a lovely life. So the price is the workout.
Right.
For me, working out is about my brain. The difference I feel. I'm a better person. I'm a better spouse. I'm sweeter. I feel better if I have regular exercise. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And you know, we're all believers in finding joy in our life.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I cannot feel great unless I have had exercise in the day. It is that one piece that is the key to me feeling great all day. Now, I start my morning before my feet hit the floor. Before my feet hit the floor, I count my blessings. It's just so I start with gratitude.
Yes.
You have a choice every morning what kind of day you're going to have. Counting your blessings, and at the end of the day, at the end of your blessings, saying, it's going to be a great day. I am blessed.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes. I love that mindset.
That is so incredible.
I love that mindset. And you know, and I talk about waking up and being grateful for my bed every morning. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Well,
yes, starting your day in a positive state. Starting your day, how we start our day, how we start it. Can you not hear me, Jacqueline? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
how we start our day is how the day will wind up playing out. So if you start your day in an irritable mood or like, you know, it's amazing then what's going to happen to you instead of like, wow, I'm going to make a concerted effort that this is how I'm going to start my day in a place of gratitude or a place of at least trying to bring joy and good habits. Exactly.
So ladies, pour yourself an inch of wine.
Yes, I will. Hold on, let me grab our weekday glasses, which are our hot tub smaller glasses.
This glass is in honor of Italy, where all these old men sit in the town square with little glasses like this full of.
Oh yes, yeah.
Steph's grabbing a glass.
I think so. Wow, this is so good. I already can't wait for dinner tonight.
Well, the great thing about this recipe too is that it's great for guests. You need to always get your spice, but it's an impressive recipe without a huge amount of effort.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So easy.
Here's to living a life of joy.
Here's to living a life of joy. Cheers.
A life of joy and fulfillment.
Cheers. Yes, our multi-continent country cook show. Oh, you know what? That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's great, and it mirrors the taste of the spaghetti.
Yes, it really does.
Whenever you cook with wine and then you drink the same wine, oh
yeah. Well, this is delicious.
That bite right there was so much more pungent.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
After that sip of wine, yeah.
And
yeah, it really was.
Once you get the feeling for this recipe, you can pump up the garlic, you can pump up the spice or pump it down.
Yeah.
And again, with the wine or the tomato, all of it is flexible within the recipe.
This was wonderful.
Oh man, that's so good.
We'll have to have you back.
Oh, I'll be in my new kitchen and we'll try something a little more ambitious.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Definitely.
Maybe we can do an impromptu episode because we're doing this once a month, so we already have a couple other guests. But it's like maybe we could do an impromptu. You know?
Oh, of course we could. Of course we could.
Have, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it adds variety too, Steph, because it adds variety, and it just is an extra special bonus.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about cooking as a hobby is no one's ever mad at you for having a hobby like that.
Yeah, that's right.
You actually seeing people eat around me is one of the great joys of my life.
Yes.
Having my family or friends around me eating, which is why I love it so very much.
Such a way to socialize and connect.
So I'm not going to waste this. I have some more pasta in my cupboard. So I'm gonna still mix this up and mix it with a different pasta.
Boil your pasta in that sauce if you've got a little bit. Boil the pasta right in the sauce from the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, delicious. Wow, well this has been a lovely episode. Jax, I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy to see you, and thank you for introducing us to this amazing recipe, and we will post it in the comments.
Yes.
The spice gotcha, eh?
Oh yeah, and I inhaled it. Ugh.
Yeah, we will post this.
Guys, it's such a pleasure to be a part of this today, and to be a part of both of the communities that you guys are a part of online. It inspires me all the time. I'm here in a country without a lot of close personal friends, and to be able to find this brand of sort of, I want to say spiritual, it is spiritual, but more than that, it's personal. This brand of personal growth, this idea that as women, we can not be mean girls, and we can spread joy and speak joy rather than tear one another down or be.
That is exactly right.
For me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's a great note to end on, I think. That's just a beautiful note to wrap it up with, and say thank you to our viewers.
Oh my God, we've gone an hour and 17 minutes.
No, we've just gone. No, we've gone 45 minutes. Yeah, about 45 minutes.
This is a short episode. Thank you guys for those that were joining. We are ending the show. Oh my God, now people are literally jumping on it and engaging. We had some viewers, and now people are like loving and liking. So I don't know who you are. Say hello in the chat. Thank you for joining at the last minute. Go back and watch from the beginning. This has been a very incredible, powerful, positive episode. Jacqueline, our guest, shared an amazing recipe. She has traveled the world, and she has learned the culinary expertise in different kitchens all over the world. And there's so much to learn. So go back and rewatch from the beginning. And thanks everybody for joining. Food Therapy. And don't forget your jars, your complaining, whining, and bitching jar, and your gratitude jar. Every time that you complain, whine, or are negative about anything, doesn't matter what it is, write it down on a piece of paper, put it in the complaint jar, and then at that same point, find something you're grateful for, write it on a piece of paper, even if it's the same doggone thing over and over. And then next week, we're going to talk about that. Clemenza, what's up? Clemenza just joined. Yeah, I'm going to be calling you in a few minutes.
Hi, Clemenza.
Yes.
Thanks, ladies. Kisses from South America.
Love everybody.
Bye everybody. Woohoo. Oh, did Jackie actually